Yo, hey everybody, me and Buster Green here. So, Gumball's been trending this week. Gumball's never been my favorite show. It's definitely slightly below my age bracket, but it aired on Cartoon Network in the glorious 2010s alongside lore-heavy shows like Adventure Time and Steven Universe that I just couldn't miss, and so therefore I call an episode of Gumball every here and there between like tapings. I'll probably say the two top episodes in my book are the one that randomly over-references Final Fantasy VII a bunch, and the best episode of the show in my book was the strikingly poignant assassination of their Chinese ripoff show Miracle Star, which if you've never seen that, that is the best episode. They like completely ripped their Chinese knockoff to shreds. Now, things have been very frosty on the Cartoon Network front as of late while we wait for the big news out of Nessie in June about what the plan to revitalize Cartoon Network is. But we have finally gotten our first look at the anticipated return of Gumball. Gumball's back for a new Season 7 with a new title. It's gone from the amazing world of Gumball to the wonderful weird world of Gumball. That is a tongue twister. Anyway, it's a brand new title with a brand new font, and I'm not digging the font. It looks kind of gross in my view. It's too organic. Anyway, Gumball trending in the news. I've also found through the public discourse that the show has a whole slightly extended psychedelic opening sequence that Cartoon Network bothered to show because they had a weird decree as of late that show openings had to be truncated to optimize commercial space, to sell all those like good toys that no one buys anymore. I feel like I've seen parts of this chopped up, but I never knew it was the whole opening and it was a whole repetitive thing like that. Anyway, yeah, so Gumball dropped a new trailer. Everything is covered in dust, showing that the old dusty show has been brought out of its dusty retirement, and the characters are self-aware that this is a meta joke, that they've been asleep the past 7 years. Good old classic Gumball humor. Anyway, I haven't watched Gumball since the Miracle Star Takedown episode, so I'm not entirely caught up on the deep lore or if there's some reason why the characters took a 7-year power nap, but let's stop pretending any of this makes sense. Warner Brothers is bleeding out dead, and instead of stopping the hemorrhaging, they've been licensing their own legacy content to competitors, and they've already given up this brand new season of Gumball, a cornerstone Cartoon Network series that is not even airing on Cartoon Network in the US, let alone at HBO Max. Yeah, it's premiering on freaking Hulu, the Disney-owned streaming service. Let that one sink in. Anyway, I'm not all that invested in Gumball, but what the fuck is going on with HBO Max and Cartoon Network all of a sudden? Because now all their shows are all over the place, and I need 4 different subscriptions to see them all? What the hell? This isn't some creative pivot, it's like a crisis response disguised as a strategy, because ever since Dazlov took control, Warner Brothers has turned into like a fucking bonfire of their once beloved properties. Shows got canceled mid-run, teams were gutted, entire departments and buildings dissolved, and now what? They're producing a revival of Gumball just to hand it over to the freaking competition? Who benefits from that? Not the fans who like go to their network and find nothing there, not the brand they built. This isn't even an isolated case, as I'm hearing rumors that regular shows reboot The Lost Tapes might also be landing on Hulu, not Max or Cartoon Network. And meanwhile, rumor has it that the still yet to be confirmed Steven Universe revival series seems to be probably debuting on Amazon Prime alongside of its modern day spiritual successor and competitor Hazbin Hotel. The hell? So yeah, pay attention. This is starting to become a trend, an active shift in how Warner Brothers is treating their own catalog, seemingly going from like a first-party producer to like a third-party publisher. They've hollowed out their kids programming side of HBO Max, and then they've acted shocked when their audience disappeared as a result. Now they're desperately offloading whatever they have left to Hulu to earn a quick buck and hope viewership there still exists. The creatively bankrupt logic there is that they're just trying to get short-term cash games to keep the ship afloat, plain and simple, because Hulu has a stronger foothold in the kids' marketplace. So instead of trying to like fix Cartoon Network, reinvest or rebuild their own platforms, Warner Brothers is outsourcing their audience growth to Disney of all people. Let that irony sink in. Like one of the biggest animation powerhouses is now feeding animated content to their rivals because they wrecked their own infrastructure. At least going back to HBO Max seems to be a step in the right direction. But anyway, it's causing massive confusion now of audiences and kids who don't even know what's what anymore and who are now associating Gumball as a brand new Disney show as opposed to a 10-year-old Cartoon Network show from the good old days. But yeah, despite all the rumors, Disney did not buy Gumball from Cartoon Network. I mean, not literally. They licensed the show, but they don't own the show. Warner Brothers is still holding on to the rights. Hulu is just licensing the show to show it. Hulu has been showing Cartoon Network shows successfully for years. It's no different than like Netflix showing Nickelodeon shows, but still it's baffling to see that a show so closely tied to Cartoon Network's like history, and success is now going to show up with a new season on a streaming service owned by their biggest corporate competitor. It seems like a betrayal wrapped in a licensing agreement. And so then this raises all like kinds of other questions, as like Adventure Time is on like the cusp of being rebooted again. Is that also going to land exclusively on Hulu? Like Fiona and Cake is still coming out on Max, but what happens when like Warner starts splitting franchises between different platforms? Like they're selling slices of a pie to different people. Like there's also that BMO spinoff for kids. Is that like getting the same treatment? Are they really carving up Adventure Time's universe into like platform exclusive chunks where you need like 3 subscriptions to see the whole thing? And at this point, it's no longer like content. It's just like IP whack-a-mole for these people. Or is this just the beginning of the dismantling of Cartoon Network in real time? And the complete financial reality here is that Zaslav keeps making mistakes, and Warner Brothers has lost over 60% of its market value since he took control. 60% at this point, over half. Cartoon Network is also suffering as well. Their ad revenue plummeted from $600 million to barely $100 million, once again losing that's 6 times smaller. Zaslav is still walking away with massive bonuses while the rest of the company is looking like a bombed out piece of cheese. And despite all this crap, they keep insisting they're committed to original content, but what they really mean is they're just going to keep churning out reboots and revivals like this new Gumball season, this new regular show season, and this new Adventure Time season, and it's all just fucking slop content. When they did have an original show like Infinity Train that got huge praise from critics, they locked that one in the vault and won't ever talk about it like it's cursed. At this point, trying to track where a show lives from Cartoon Network is like chasing the fog. Hulu has some of them, Max has some of them, Netflix has some of them. There's no home base or anything. It's just a scattered mess of licenses, exclusivity deals, and half-baked rollouts, and we're all supposed to just deal with it by having like fucking 4 streaming subscriptions. I actually had this horrible realization the other night when I checked out my list of shows to watch on HBO Max last night. Almost every single cartoon I had planned on watching on the network that I hadn't got around to had been fully evaporated either onto another streaming service that I'm not paying for, or some of them are just straight up lost media now for God knows how long, maybe forever. I'll never see the end of bad Family Guy style Scooby-Doo reboot, but god damn it, it pisses me off that they didn't even like alert me that they were like removing these shows. Sure, there's a logic to the decision that if your kid audience isn't on HBO Max anymore, then maybe don't dump shows there. But why isn't there a kid audience there anymore? It's because Warner Brothers blew it up themselves, and now instead of rebuilding it, they're just letting other streaming service do the work they refuse to do. And I'm sorry, but if the price for getting Gumball back is watching Warner Brothers toss away everything that made Cartoon Network iconic, then that cost is too high. This is how you treat your goddamn legacy? This is corporate rot masquerading as content strategy. Like, I'm thrilled Gumball is returning and all, but not like this, not buried under a Disney banner while Cartoon Network fades into irrelevance, not while everything that gave these shows meaning is being gutted in real time in front of all our eyes. Anyway, let me know what you think, because I'm sick of pretending this is business as usual. This is just fucking chaos, and as usual, Zaslav is burning down Warner Brothers for insurance money again.